regards to being able to list it on the National Register, and I can't answer that question.
So at this time, I'll take a motion to close executive session and to take a motion to reopen the public meeting. Is there a motion? Trustee Golio, second. Trustee Taylor, all in favor? And that passes. Meeting will come to order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and a prayer by Trustee Sullivan. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I thought this was only fitting since there's so many police that were celebrating this evening, and coming from a family of law enforcement, I feel special to give this prayer. Lord, bless the ones who wear the badge, the ones who walk the beat, protect and keep them safe while they are on the street. As they wait and as they watch, doing good for all, guide their minds and give them strength for each and every call. Ready to put their lives on the line, give them courage each day. Let them know you're always there in each and every way. So bless the ones who wear the badge, protect them from harm, always keep them safe and in your loving arms. Amen.
Amen. Nicole, that was fantastic. Thank you very much, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Village Hall. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for Tuesday, September 26, 2017. As Nicole mentioned, and as you know by the agenda and by the crowd here tonight, we've got a special evening. We're really going to be focusing on our tremendous police department and people that have been involved with that for a long time and going forward. So we'll get to those presentations, and we have some important oath of offices tonight, which will be next. Then we'll have a presentation from the Energy Task Force. We're going to be taking considering a very, very big step in considering to adopt the Climate Action Plan for the Village of Dobbs Ferry, which is a culmination of work of a lot of great people over many, many years, and it's another reason why this is such an exciting night. Following the presentation from the Energy Task Force, we'll then have courtesy of the floor, so if you're here to speak to the board about any issue you've got about anything, whether it's on the agenda or not, any ideas you have, any complaints you have, whatever it might be, that will be the time to come before the board. When you're recognized, please come to the mic, state your name and address for the record, and try to keep your comments to 3 minutes if you can. We really do appreciate that. We have a lot of business to cover each night here, but we do want to hear from you, and then we'll get to our matters requiring action. So that's the outline for tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the meeting, or going to come down, because we have a presentation to give, and I'm going to come down there and run the first part of the meeting down here, which is a little unusual, but I'm going to move a little slowly because I got a new right hip, so I'm going to make my way down there. I'm going to stay there for a little bit. So that's that's the direction I'm going now. So I was at the senior center this morning for I'll talk a little bit more about that, but I showed up with this, and they thought I was joining their ranks. But no, I'm doing fine. It's amazing what they can do these days. So to start off, as many of you know, and as some of you may not know, Police Chief Betsy Gilardi is retiring. And we want to say a few words and give her a special presentation tonight. May 14, 1985 was a really special day in the history of Dobbs Ferry. That was when Betsy came to us and was hired as a police officer. And from that day, she has had an illustrious and magnificent career here in Dobbs Ferry for 32 years. Along the way, she has fulfilled a number of duties within the department as a youth service representative. She has moved through the ranks as sergeant and lieutenant. She has received a number of awards and recognition. And as all of you know, in July of 2007, Betsy was appointed as the first ever female police chief in the history of Dobbs Ferry in Westchester County. Betsy is an amazing person. When I first started as mayor almost 8 years ago, I didn't know anything about anything. And I made it a point to, one of the things, to get to know Betsy and how the operations work. And over the close to 8 years that I've served as mayor, and getting to know Betsy and seeing how things work, let me tell you, you have no idea what goes into running a police department in a village like this. It's an amazing operation. Police departments are tough places. And by the very nature of the work that they do every day, it's a tough place. There are a lot of crazy people out there. And, some of these people, as you know, have issues. There are people with mental issues. There are people with sicknesses. There are people who are alone, have problems. And what you get to know when you work with somebody like Betsy and work with the department that we're so lucky to have is all the things that they do beyond the basic law enforcement. The tough part of the job, you think is a tough part of the job. That's a phone? There's a crazy person. Where was I? What the officers do and what they deal with every day is amazing. And you think you've seen it all. And then I'll get a call from Betsy, you're not going to believe this one. So there's the law enforcement part of it, which is tough and it can be dirty and ugly sometimes, but there is the compassionate part of it, which I've again gotten to know Betsy, and if you know what she has done to comfort so many people in this community in their times of need, whatever the issue is, and you have no idea some of the struggles that people go through and the help that they need. She's an amazing person, and you don't see that part of her, and I can tell you it's really amazing, and the work that you do as a deacon in the spiritual support that Betsy also provides, because that's a very important part of her life, is an amazing quality that she has. And I did, as I was saying, when I first started, I would drive around with her, during the storms. As luck would have it, the winter 09-10 and the winter 10-11 were the worst winters in 50 years in Dobbs Ferry. And we had the Hurricane Sandy and some really bad hurricanes. And you drive around and you see what they deal with and the issues that residents have and how Betsy and the other departments deal with that and what she does as a leader when they form the emergency desks that need to be formed countywide to communicate across the county when you have tens of thousands of people without power and how you deal with that. It's really amazing, and we are just so lucky to have had Betsy for the time we've had, and it's obviously a bittersweet moment, right? And it's part of the cycle. Life goes on, we move on, and we are, Betsy, really so lucky to have had you, and words, there's just aren't enough words that can really say how great a person you are and what you've meant to this community. So I have a proclamation that I want to give, and I would like to ask Betsy to come and join me if you can. And it does, I think, say a lot of the story. So this is an official proclamation. Whereas the village, or a village, has no greater responsibility than the safety and well-being of its citizens. And whereas the village of Dobbs Ferry, in the execution of this awesome responsibility, hired Betsy Gilardi as a police officer on May 14, 1985. And whereas during her career with the Dobbs Ferry Police Department, Betsy served as a youth officer and was promoted to sergeant, as well as a lieutenant, and served as patrol division commander and executive officer for 10 years. And whereas Betsy was promoted to police chief in July of 2007, becoming the first female ever to serve as police chief in the history of Dobbs Ferry and Westchester County. And whereas Betsy has been honored to serve as first vice president of the Westchester County Police Chiefs Association and co-chair to the New York State Counterterrorism Unit for Zone 3 covering Westchester and Putnam counties. And whereas throughout her career, Betsy has worked with 3 chiefs, 7 mayors, 6 village administrators, and, quote, more trustees than she can accurately count. And had the opportunity to work with 75 of the finest officers and ancillary staff, forming lifetime friendships and spending more time and holidays with than with their own family. And whereas after 32 years of devoted service to the village of Dobbs Ferry, Betsy will culminate her magnificent career and retire from her position as chief of police. And whereas as a community, we are saddened that Betsy will be retiring, yet we are so lucky and grateful that Betsy came to Dobbs Ferry, giving us so much of herself, keeping our community safe, who helped so many of our citizens when they were in need, and to be the ultimate example of what it means to serve the public and to be a police officer. And whereas we love Betsy Gilardi, and we wish her and her family all the best of luck and safety in the future, therefore be it resolved that I officially commend and thank Chief Gilardi for her service to our village, for making Dobbs Ferry a better place, and through the authority of my office do hereby proclaim Friday, September 29th, 2017, her retirement day, so she can prepare for her day, as Chief Betsy Gilardi Day in the village of Dobbs Ferry. And direct this proclamation to the following representatives of people of goodwill to see and know.
All the village staff, and especially all the members of the Dobbs Ferry Police Department for their unwavering support. It has truly been an honor and a privilege to serve the Dobbs Ferry Police Department for the past 32 years, especially my last 10 as chief. I wish Sergeant Campy and Sergeant soon-to-be Chief Guerra all the best in the future, the days to come. And just know that you're only a phone call away. I love you all.
Yeah, so we sort of have a bit of a legacy tour, I guess, here today, starting off with a great party that was held to the senior party today, and had a nice presentation for Betsy, and they were really, really so nice to her and gave her some things, and Betsy was absolutely unable to say anything this morning, so I was surprised that she was able to get anything out, but anyway, before I introduce to you in the procedures that we need to take in a formality, the new chief of police, I just want to explain to you a little bit about the process that we've been through, the board's been through during this period over the last month. And it's really as a testament to the leadership of Betsy that we had a tough decision to make as a board, because we were presented with 3 of the most outstanding candidates that you could imagine for choosing from a list, all 20-year plus officers here in the village of Dobbs Ferry that on any given time could be, and would have been, and would be outstanding police chiefs anywhere, here or anywhere else. And we did a little bit differently this year. I decided that this was, obviously this is one of the most important decisions I've had to make, any of us have had to make. This is a big deal. And that typically in the past, what would happen in this case would be a subcommittee would be formed within the board, and probably 3 trustees and the mayor would meet, interview, take the input that they do, and then make a recommendation to the rest of the board. But I felt that this was better served to have all of us involved. So all 6 of us as trustees spent a great deal of time over the last month in the evaluation process and having interviews and doing all the things that we needed to do, the due diligence to arrive at a decision, which was a tough decision, but decision that we made and are comfortable with. But what I want to, and so I want to thank all the board members who spent so much time at this. This, as I said, is an incredibly important decision, and obviously we feel we've made the right decision, but it wasn't easy. And I just want to say again how lucky we are. You should all know this, how lucky you are to live in a village that has the type of officers, the lieutenants, sergeants that we have here. They're outstanding individuals. Obviously, Betsy's been leading them for 10 years now, but we are really lucky. And a lot of them are here tonight, and they're just incredible individuals in what they do, and we're so grateful and so thankful. And it's, you know, it was a process that we went through, and you know, the good news, sort of bad news was that we had a great selection, but it was a difficult choice. But wow, we had some great choices. And so that's a little bit about the process, and I just wanted to communicate that to all of you on behalf of the board. Okay, so you know, as part of the life cycle, you know, change is tough, but you move on. And we are going to appoint a new police chief tonight. And before I ask Rick Rivera to come up here, I do have to ask for a motion from the board, so it's kind of a formal thing that we need to do. And I'm going to do it from here, just because, as I explained to you, I don't want to go up and down the steps a little bit. But and we have a sergeant that we're going to be doing a little bit later too, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time here. So what I need to do now is to ask for a motion from the Board of Trustees to appoint Sergeant Manuel Rivera as police chief for the village of Dobbs Ferry for a salary of $158,671. Sorry, Rick, we have to do that. Effective on September 30, 2017 at 0 hours. Is there a motion? Trustee Golio, Deputy Mayor Golio, second Trustee Nicole Sullivan, all in favor. And that passes with those of us that are here present tonight, which is 5 ayes, but I can tell you there would have been 6 if Donna was here. I'm not supposed to say that, but I'm saying it because Donna felt very strongly and is right there with us. So I'd now like to ask Rick Rivera to join me here. So Rick is wearing, as you can see, his particularly sharp uniform tonight. He's looking good. And I want Rick to say a few words here to introduce, but I want to introduce Rick. Rick has had also a phenomenal career in Dobbs Ferry. He's been here for over 20 years. He's moved through the ranks, and we spent some time with Rick over the last couple of days here, making this decision and sort of informing everybody on Monday when we did it in here tonight. You know, Rick has some incredible shoes to fill, and he knows that. But we are extremely confident that he is up for the job, and he will be a great leader going forward for this department. You know, that has changed over the years. We have become a little bit younger, and I think Rick is really in a good position to lead this department going forward, and I know he'll do a great job. Rick was very, very humble when he heard the news, and that was a really good sign. And one of the things that he wanted to do first was to go and make sure how everybody in the department felt about it, and he did that. And that seems to have gone very, very well. He knows what he needs to do to come up to speed, and I know he's very, very excited about this position. So that's just a little bit of background, and now we're going to do the formal oath here, so bear with me one sec. You trust me to pin this on you? Sure. Mom? raise your right hand, Rick. Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and to carry out the duties of police chief of the Village of Dobbs Ferry to the best of your ability?
I do.
Congratulations, Rick. Rick, I know you have some members of your family, your mom's here. If you want to introduce them, say a few things to your constituents here.
Absolutely. First, I really want to just thank all the members of the board. It was an extremely intense process and eye-opening, but I enjoyed it, and I just want to thank all of you for entrusting me with this great honor. And it really is. This is not a position that I sought lightly. It was something that involved a lot of thought because of the responsibility of a police chief. And I believe that I do have those attributes. But I'm helped because I got some great guys that I work with, and they make my job easier. As I go forward, my plan is to continue in the fine tradition that Betsy Gilardi has shown and taught. And I'm looking to continue that as we move forward into the future. This is an exciting time. I'm very happy for you, Justin. This is great for you. It's great for the department, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you. You guys have made my job easier as a supervisor, and I do appreciate every single one of you. You're all part of this department, and we've got a great future. So I just, my family's here, my father Manolo, my mother Pam, my best friend Laura, and our son Jack. I got my niece Deanna, my brother Mike, he's a town of Mamaroneck detective, his wife Dawn, my goddaughter Juliet, my best friend Rich Garcia, his dad Juliet, my best friend Matt T. now retired NYPD. And just want to thank everybody. I will do the best job I can, and I look forward to working with everybody. It's going to be a good time.
And moving on, and that's what we're doing here, is we're moving on. And as people move on, it gives opportunities for others to step up. And before I ask Officer Justin Campy to join me here, just a little bit of background. I think all of you in the room know Justin and what he has contributed to this community. Incredible police officer, like all the other ones that we have, but also his involvement with the youth, in particular, has made a huge difference in Dobbs Ferry. And we're so grateful for Justin, for all of our police officers, and for Justin, who goes out into the community and does such great work, and it's really important. We've already done the formality in terms of the motions required and appointing Justin to sergeant, the rank of sergeant. So he will be stepping up. So tonight what we're doing is really just the official swearing in. So I'm going to ask Justin, Officer Justin Campy, or Sergeant Campy, to join me here. officer, you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and to carry out the duties of sergeant of the Village of Dobbs Ferry Police Department to the best of your ability? I do. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank the mayor, my sincerest gratitude to the mayor, Chief Gilardi, the Board of Trustees, all the members of the Dobbs Ferry Police Department, you, Chief Rivera, and all the members of many departments that came near and far to support both myself and Sergeant, you, Chief Rivera, all the people from the Youth Academy, and all the people from the village that came today. And I also like to thank my grandfather that's turning 91 in November. My grandmother, Doris Tagliano, my mom, my dad, my uncle Robbie, my wife Zara, and my son Griffin out there, and his babysitter out there, and all the people that came. I appreciate it. It's really a great opportunity. I appreciate the opportunity that the village and the chief has given me, and we look forward to working with the community and keep on doing what we're doing. And like I said, would love to thank my wife here. That's always has my back and puts up with the hectic schedule, and everybody's significant other and wife that puts up with our hectic schedule. And thank you, appreciate it.
Well, thank you, everybody. You know what I'm going to ask? I know that we have persons to be heard coming up, but if there was anybody here that, sort of using some discretion here, that was here to wanting to say any comments about the police department tonight or anything that wants to do that now, we can get to it at persons to be heard, but I kind of know what's going to happen here is that you all are not going to want to stick around for the rest of this meeting, although there are some exciting things that we have going on here, and I do hope maybe you can stay for the presentation next, but which will be very short. But was there anybody that, Scotty, you want to wait, Scotty, a little bit until? He's good. Well, he's good? Okay, good. All right. But while I do have you, I would like to, Betsy and I took a little tour today of the village, and one of the places that we went to, you all may be aware that a new rapid flashing crossing light has been installed at the corner of Broadway, right? There's some folks that live right there, yeah, okay. At the corner of Broadway and Clinton Avenue. I think most of you know, if you know the area well, know Dobbs very well, you've been here a while, that's a tricky corner, tricky area. And due to the efforts of, well, former police chief, or no, I guess we can still, Betsy Gilardi and Gary Gardner, DPW foreman, and some other, Jennifer and staff, and the board was pushing this as a priority, and Charlene was pushing this too. It was installed some time ago, but I want to just point something out. There's a button that you push, okay, before you cross the street, and that activates the flashing lights. Well, we were there today because we wanted to take some pictures, and it's a big deal. Bob Sari's we've taken a lot of initiatives over the last few years to improve safety in Dobbs Ferry, and we're not perfect, and yes, there's a lot of traffic, and there's a lot of traffic everywhere, but Dobbs Ferry is a much safer place today for pedestrians, and there's going to be continued improvements going forward, and this was one of those deals. But a girl, I guess a student from Master School was walking on the church side of the street, going to go up the hill, and just started walking across the crosswalk, and there was traffic coming, and I said, excuse me, stop, there's a button here. Push the button. And she pushed the button, and the lights started going, and everybody stopped. The traffic stopped. And she got across, and she started to laugh a little bit, and we told her to tell all of her friends that there's a button that you push, and then those lights will go on. So please, I can't tell you how many times Betsy and the police officers have seen people, now that we have this crossing light there, just cross without pushing the button. Push that button, the lights will go on immediately. It's timed. I think they stay on for about 20 seconds. So even if you got a cane like me, maybe take you a little while, or like Scotty, to walk across the, there's plenty of time to do it. And I just wanted to send that message while you were all here. And it's another great thing that the department does in looking after the safety and things that the village does to make sure that we all stay safe. So anyway, all right, so I guess I'm going to give everybody a little bit of time to, that might want to exit now. Excuse me?
Courtesy of the floor.
No, we're going to do that later, okay. Well, did you want to say something, Lee? Okay, sure, come on up. Is this a positive thing?
Good evening, all. My Constantine Stanley. I just want to thank the chief for her services to the village. The village has been fortunate to have a chief that has been so dedicated to her commitment for the welfare of the community. Her attention to the community went beyond her job scope by attending Board of Trustees meetings on a regular, routine basis, demonstrating a sincere interest in learning about the concerns, issues, and happenings throughout the village. On a grander scale, having been the first female in the county to achieve the rank of chief, she has the qualities to serve as an inspiration to female students who aspire to choose the profession. I wish her the best of health and happiness, and I wish her all the best in whatever she chooses to do. Thank you.
Oh, Lee, that's really nice. Thank you so much.
And I also want to congratulate the new chief and our new sergeant as well. Best of luck.
Okay, thanks, Lee. Okay, so we are going to have a short presentation from the Energy Task Force on action that we're considering tonight, which is to adapt the climate action plan. So those of you that are going to start to shuffle out, I can see. Yeah, thank you. That was quick.
Grapple each other. Very nice, Mayor. Very nice.
Welcome.
I don't think his son has any more label than her. It's a redheaded version.
Told you this is beautiful. Yeah, and I also forgot to do Energy Task Force presentation.
Mayor, at the next meeting, are we doing something to say goodbye to him?
Yes.
Oh,
We're actually
okay. Yeah.
nice to see somebody. What do you think? Yeah. Where's the mic? I should move the mic. You're gonna lose yourself. Liz, just move it.
Why further up here?
Charlene, it needs to be over here. I don't, yeah. Yeah, but there wasn't any feedback.
It seems so soft.
Let it go away.
Oh, Charlene's acting as the ground. Okay, is all right? Okay. Okay, let's move on. The next presentation we're looking forward to is a presentation by the Energy Task Force on the proposed climate action plan and consideration by the board to adopt this plan. This plan has been before us before, and I think it's important to recognize that this plan has been in the works for many, many years. So we had seen a draft of this plan a few months ago. There's been a few modifications just in terms of the presentation, but we did want to ask Nina Orville, who has served and serves as the chairperson of the Energy Task Force, to come back and before we took final action on this or considered final action, to give us one last look and sort of overview. And so, Nina, that's why we're here back here tonight. Thanks so much for coming. And I see there's more than a few members of the task force that are represented here tonight. So it's great to see you all. Thanks very much for coming.
Right. Thank you so much, and good evening. It's wonderful to follow such a great celebration here in the Village Police Department. So, as the mayor mentioned, we were here in July to present a draft version of the climate action plan. Happy to be in the service on the Energy Task Force with me and my fellow members and I presenting regarding the draft plan. And we received a little feedback regarding it, and so we've made a couple changes, but I just want to remind you what the main components of the plan are. And they include the rationale for addressing climate change at the local level. It's obviously a global problem, but a lot of the solutions can be found through actions that we take here locally. And in addition to those climate benefits, there are cost savings opportunities and opportunities to make improvements that are valuable for our community in other ways as well. Also, we reviewed the commitment that the village has made in this area to reducing greenhouse gas emissions from municipal operations 20% by 2015, which is something that we exceeded, and also 20% by 2020 for the community, which is a harder nut to crack, but it's something that we're working on. And we outlined a lot of the main activities that we've undertaken here in the village related to energy and buildings, things like the energy efficiency projects in municipal buildings, the Solarize campaign that Rob Barrett and the Energy Task Force led here locally, transportation-related improvements that the schools and the village have undertaken, safe routes to school and a host of other improvements. Activities related to waste reduction and recycling improvements. Also trees, gardens, and local food, things like the farmer's market and a number of other, the CSA here in the village, Roots and Wings at South Church. And another area that we haven't focused too much attention on yet, but we recognize is really important, and so we need to address, I think, a little bit more, which is water. And then we described the process involved in developing the climate action plan. As the mayor indicated, this is something that has been in the works truly for a long time, and we actually started working on this version of the plan about 2.5 years ago. And Dobbs Ferry was selected as a pilot community for a program offered through the State Department of Environmental Conservation to participate in this process of developing a climate action plan. And the wonderful members of the task force, Susan and Kathy, and Denise in particular, were very focused on community outreach and developing a series of events that took place in the village to bring residents together to talk about each of these different focus areas and to engage institutions in the village to provide feedback on all of these topics. It's something that everybody here, the task force was involved in. Everybody took it upon themselves to lead or co-lead one of those sessions. So there was a lot of input that we received, and then all of the members of the task force, we divvied up all the different topic areas, and we got to work assessing the opportunities that we have to make improvements in each of those areas. And we looked at a range of factors for each of those potential recommendations, including what would it cost, what are the potential savings, how big an environmental impact would this action make? Does the village have the necessary capacity in terms of knowledge or staff or whatever the case may be to do this effectively? And so with that matrix, we scored all of the possible recommendations under each topic area and prioritized them based on their ranking after that process. So it was really a very comprehensive process which everybody who participated in it can attest to. And so what you have within the plan is a list of priority actions that are ranked according to the way they scored as a result of that process for each of those focus areas. I mentioned in this final draft, we made a couple of changes from the earlier version that we had presented. So just to let you know what those are, they're pretty simple, but we included information about the outreach that we've done, that the Energy Task Force has done in the village over the last number of years. Actually, I think going back to 2010 with our climate summit. And it includes a couple of different events that were focused on business owners related to energy efficiency and other clean energy opportunities. A couple of events that we did in conjunction with the schools to let homeowners know the steps that they could take to save money and make their homes more energy efficient. Lots of participation in local events and festivals, including the wonderful Berry Festa that Patty helps the village put on every year. An event in 2014, Sustainable Jobs, Practical Solutions with a Global Perspective, bringing together experts from throughout the area. And then the Eagle Awards, which we've done on a couple of occasions to recognize contributions from people in the community, whether it's schools or the village government or local business owners, and the contributions they've made to these efforts. So there's been a lot of outreach that's happened, and we wanted to capture that. And then the other substantive change is highlighting something that I think is quite unique about the way the Village of Dobbs Ferry has approached this opportunity, and that's really thinking about making energy-related improvements as investment opportunities. And this is something that Mayor Knapp has really brought to the fore in terms of looking at the payback period associated with any of these possible projects. And
Patty, I think if you touch, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but if you touch something, you can be the ground.
I'm not touching anything either. I don't know what's going on.
Okay. It wasn't giving feedback when it was positioned over here, and I know you're operating the, okay, that worked.
we'll give it a try.
Okay.
It's just your suggestion.
Yeah.
So this again is something that I think is unique. One of the things that I hear from people in local governments around the area is a lot of people who are surprised at how much work the Village of Dobbs Ferry has undertaken making these kinds of improvements, both with grant funding but also with funds from the village government. And in a lot of places, the assumption is if you can't get grant money to fully fund it, that you don't do these kinds of energy-related improvements. But it's a testament to the mayor's perspective that these sorts of energy projects can represent excellent investment opportunities. You install LED streetlights, you reduce your energy costs by 75 or 80%. And the payback period can be 3 years. So what a fabulous opportunity that is. So I want to really highlight that Russo, and Patty Steinschneider, Denise Wooden, who's the secretary of the Energy Task Force and who's been really leading a lot of this work, and then Ali Malikian and Jeff O'Donnell, recently stepped down. So that's what I would leave you with. Thank you for all of your support. And do we want to do this? I don't know whether you want to consider taking action. I know Denise Wooden has some information for people who might be interested in learning more about the.
Well, I definitely think we're considering taking action of a supportive nature. So if you want to add anything else, we've got a little bit more time here. Yep.
I'll be brief. As Nina mentioned, all of the successes that we've had here in Dobbs Ferry to make our community more environmentally friendly, more sustainable, to reduce our carbon footprint, for pedestrian safety, it's all been a collaborative effort. And that collaboration doesn't end with the vote tonight. In fact, it begins again. And it's our hope that the CAP will serve as a roadmap for additional steps that the village can take. And we also hope that it makes it easier for residents to get involved in these issues. We encourage everyone to read the plan. It's on the village website. We're going to make sure that there's hard copies at Village Hall and at the library. And when people read it, to think about ways that they might engage. There's all kinds of ways. There's waste reduction issues, reuse, recycling, composting, outreach to homeowners about energy efficiency, joining Sustainable Westchester's programs, and making renewable energy the default for residents and small commercial customers, and pedestrian and bike safety. And for right now, you can reach us, any one of the Energy Task Force members, through the village clerk's office. But we do hope to set up a designated email address so people can reach out to us directly. So I encourage anyone in our small group here tonight and who may be watching this on cable TV to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Denise, and thank you, Nina, and thank you all the members of the Energy Task Force for all the work that you've been put in. A lot of people do watch this, Denise, believe it or not. They're at home tonight watching this, so that'll get through, and of course these meetings do replay over the website in high definition quality. Hopefully the buzz doesn't come through as much tonight as we seem to be getting, but Patty, you're standing there. It seems like you want to say something.
I want to point one more thing out, which what this committee has done and what the mayor and this village has done is create a really wonderful beacon that has done waking on our village. It served as an example in many other communities of what can be done. I'm getting to head down to Washington for Friday and Saturday, where I'll actually be presenting this at the Climate Summit, which is taking place in Alexandria. And the reason that this is of interest is the new concept that's being pushed in our government of subsidiarity, which is the idea that you want decisions made at the lowest competent level to do it. We don't succeed well when orders are coming from way top, where they don't even have an understanding of what's on the ground. This is a community-driven effort. It's involved every faction of this community, and it's the fact that it brings all the interests, needs, and concerns of the community together that makes it so successful. So people want to know more about that, and they are very enthusiastic about what Dobbs Ferry has created.
Thank you, Patty. So before we consider the action, I do want to make a few comments, but I'd also like to ask Trustee Larry Taylor to make a few comments. Larry has not only served, I think, on the task force as a member, but has served as the liaison from the board. So Larry, maybe if you could make a few comments on behalf of the board.
Sure. Yeah, I've actually only been liaison for a short period of time, but I followed what the Energy Task Force has done for an extended period of time, and all of you are to be commended for really setting an extraordinary model that's an inspiration for what residents and resident volunteers can do through hard work, intelligence, and perseverance over a long period of time to really use all of the resources in the village and elsewhere to get something important done and to deliver something that really is meaningful to the village from an environmental standpoint. So I just want to say thank you.
And yes, thank you so much for the presentation, all the work that you've done. I think, as you pointed out, Nina, the projects that have been completed due to the efforts of the task force and the support of the village and the board, the solarization projects, the LED replacements, the reduction in the carbon footprint initiative, and the efficiency systems that have been installed in a number of the government buildings have all added up to, will save millions of dollars literally for taxpayers over the years. Some of the things that you really pushed, and we've set the bar, as Patty and Denise all explained, and you did too. We're a climate smart community. We've been awarded as such. We've set the bar. We've not only does that make us feel good, and it's rewarding, but it acts as a example. And you mentioned things that make this all much more meaningful than the success is because of the scoring that's done, the financial scoring that's done, the analysis. But the outreach programs that you have really worked on yourselves, the education, the energy summits, they've been incredible events if anyone's been to them. I mean, just so well organized, so educational, and they've made a huge difference. You've got a lot of stakeholders, and you mentioned some of them here as well, that are buying into this. So, getting the support or additional support from the school districts, from Mercy College, the other big institutions, what a huge difference that makes, and then involvement in the community. So I also want to thank each of you. Nina, thank you for your leadership. Denise, thank you for what you've done. Rob Barron, Kathy Bobenhausen, Anila Cherian, Kathy Dean, Susan DeGeorge, Ron DeRusso, Holly Malakian, who I don't see here tonight, Patty Stein-Schneider, Larry is a liaison, Vic served as liaison for some years too, but thank you all very much for your efforts. You guys have worked really well, and you've made Dobbs Ferry a better place. Thanks. Really positive contribution. It's a pretty extensive document, and it is, as Nina said, and Denise said, it's available on the website, so you can go and take a look at it. I guess maybe you guys will set up your own page someday if you're working in that direction, but it's still available to be seen. There'll be hard copies here, but it's a great document. It's really well put together, really professionally done, and so that's great stuff. So please, if you're interested, and you should be, take a look at that on the Village website, or here at Village Hall, they're available. Okay, and as we have on the agenda here, then I will,
Courtesy of the floor.
no, let me first take a motion here. With all this great work is done, I'd like to now take a motion to adopt the Climate Action Plan as presented tonight by the Energy Task Force. Is there a motion? Trustee Taylor, second. Trustee Golio, discussion. All in favor? And that passes with 5 ayes. I know there would be 6 if all of us were here. That's done. The Climate Action Plan is adopted. And thank you very much. Okay. Can we take a picture? You guys want to come up here and we'll get a picture of this? Do you want to put that out there, or? Okay, why don't you all come on up and.
Now, maybe 10:30.
Hey, Ab, can you take a picture on this one? Patty, can you give that to Abby and take a picture of this? Okay, so what we've done before, and it seems to work, if you guys can just get in the middle here and stand in however you guys want to do it, but kind of get in the middle.
We need Liz here.
Yep, Liz. Yep.
What's the total?
Okay, and we're all here. And then, Nina, do you want to take one on your camera too? You want Abby to take one?
I'll do this first, so we don't have glare to talk about.
Is that right?
Okay, took a few.
That was pretty harsh. Well, what did it do?
I think you're more of a.
Okay, so, is it all set?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, great. All right, good stuff. Thanks. Hey, Ab, can I get my phone? Okay, so moving on. Courtesy of the floor, is there anybody here that would like to address the board on any issue at all? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you need to come to the mic here, and hopefully where it's positioned now, you won't get as much feedback.
Your name and address.
You may want to just move it back a little bit. That's good, great. So then they can pick you up on the camera, and if you could just state your name and address too, please.
My name is Kathleen Patino. I'm at 168 Ashford Avenue, and I wrote a little something about parking. We're the Patino family at 168 Ashford Avenue. We've lived there for generations, and recently the parking has become more difficult. There's no parking on Ashford Avenue in front of our home from 3 to 6 a.m. This means we have to move our cars. There are 2 lanes. Parking is allowed all day, just up until 3 to 6 a.m. So we and our next door neighbors are the only homes on Ashford without driveways, and we feel this is outdated parking rule. Recent construction on homes, as well as the Dobbs Ferry Hospital, adding the medical building, takes up a lot of parking. On Virginia Avenue, which is parallel, we've had notes left on our cars, like this is my spot, and some, contention over parking. And actually, like when we step out of our car, we're literally on someone's lawn. And we also have a handicap parking permit for one of our cars. It's not easy carrying. We have a 30-pound bag of medical equipment, several blocks we have to carry walking to the car at night, and also in the morning to drive the child to school is walking all the way a couple of long blocks to get to the car. We understand snowfall and snow removal days, as well as perhaps the day that do street cleaning, but we really do need parking in front of our own homes, and we'd like if you could please look into it on our stretch of action.
Thank you very much for that. We'll look into that. Help me, 168 is...
It's right next to the Dobbs Ferry Hospital. It's just...
You're across from the hospital,
We
or
are
on the same,
side.
you're on the same side. So Nicole, you know that area well.
I do.
pretty well.
I live at 204 Ashford, so I do, but I have a
So,
driveway, so it's
We
not
don't
the same.
have a driveway,
Yeah.
and it's like, it is very difficult for us. And we just want to know, we feel like maybe it's an outdated law, like 3 to 6 a.m., no parking every single day. If we do forget the cars, if you can't, if you forget it, it's a $20 ticket. And it's just a matter of convenience because the area has changed. There's a lot of building, there's a lot more cars. It just would be a great thing for us if we could park right in front of our own home.
Yeah. Okay, have you submitted, did you submit a letter to the board at all, an email? If you can go to the web, you can get our email addresses, and I would advise you if you can just submit, something as quick as you've just read there. That will get some attention, and we will circulate it. Donna Cassell, Trustee Cassell's not here tonight, but she is very actively involved with the traffic committee. This is something that we do have to have some other eyes and ears look at, including the police department. So we will push that along. No guarantees, but we appreciate you coming and presenting the way you did. We understand the issue, and we'll see what comes back in terms of having the traffic committee look at this and the police department and see what can be done.
Can I just ask, are you asking for the restriction to be removed on your side or across the street?
Well, there is only parking across the street.
Only across the street, there's no parking on your side, right? Okay, I just wanted to double check.
I don't think there's
There wasn't room
on
for
that
it,
side.
there isn't,
No.
that's what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was just thinking, so I'm just checking, okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else care to address the board? Patty?
Good evening, Patty Steinschneider, 329 Broadway, Dobbs Ferry. I have 2 things I wanted to just make sure everybody's aware of. In a couple of weeks, on October 14th, we are having our Ferry Festa, which everybody should be getting ready for. If you haven't signed up yet, if you do before Friday, you avoid a tremendous increase in cost. So you want to make sure you get your applications in, and the village is very strict about this. If I walk in on Monday with an application without the additional money, Megan will not let me do it. So you guys have to really take care of it and get yourself signed up. We've had really, last 3 weeks, we've been a flurry of sign-ups, so we're doing very well with that. So I think we're in really good shape. The second thing is actually the next day. At Mercy College, we're going to have our Broadway Corridor public workshop, which is going to be from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. in the rotunda, and everyone is welcome. We want people, we really need people to be there. One of the tasks that this is doing, we're looking, this is a 5-village consortium from Sleepy Hollow down to Hastings. Dobbs Ferry is right in the middle of it. And what we're trying to do is find ways of making Broadway safer for pedestrians and cyclists, better for mass transit, and better for people driving cars. So it's a multimodality effort. And for us to really make good changes and improvements, we need to know what the problems are, and the best people who really know what those problems are, the people who are walking and cycling and using Broadway. So we urge everyone to come, and we're hoping to have a full room. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Patty. Anybody else care to address the board? Okay, thank you very much for your comments. We'll move on to matters requiring action. Action item number 1 is to consider a motion to award Mr. Francis Farrington a pre-entitlement age total and permanent disability benefit for an amount of $70,486.65 from the Fire Department Length of Service Award Program. We have a memo here from Village Treasurer Jeff Chuda sort of outlining this item. I know that the awards program was established many, many years ago, and I would just highlight that one of the things that we are also lucky here at Dobbs Ferry is to have a all-volunteer fire department. But these folks do put in a lot of time and effort over the years. The village does make minimal sort of contributions each year to service awards, and I think that where this comes from is that's sort of where the funding comes from this. If we had to fund a full-time fire department, and all that would go with that in terms of salaries for chiefs and everything else, and, sort of disability things over years, we would be in a much different place financially as a village. But Charlene, can you add anything to this, just for, the board may have some questions, what is this, how do we do this? And I know there's not precedent here, but just maybe a little background too.
I believe that it is a disability payment that can be made on a recurring basis, or it can be taken in a lump sum. Mr. Farrington has decided to take it in a lump sum, and, I can't stress enough what the mayor said. A volunteer fire department is unbelievably valuable, not only because of their vested interest, but, it's always money. But they are absolutely wonderful, and they care so deeply.
Thanks, Charlene. Any questions about this at all? Then I'll take a motion to award Frank Farrington the pre-titlement age total permanent disability benefit as outlined in the memo from Deputy Treasurer Jeff Chuda, June 26, 2017. Is there a motion? Trustee Golio, second. Trustee Sullivan. Discussion, all in favor? And that passes with 5 ayes and 1 absent. Action item number 2 is to consider a motion to approve a request from IPIC Gold Class Entertainment for a waiver of Village Code Section 300-50, signs, B, general standards, 5 and B, exterior lights, uplighting. Do we need any more background or update on this?
There is a resolution attached, and
Right.
it can be read into the record.
Okay, I've got that here.
And it seems that Ed was okay with it?
Yes.
We do have a memo from
Yeah.
Building Inspector Ed Manley that's dated September 26 for this board of agenda. So that is supporting documentation for this action if we consider it. Trustees have any comments or concerns about this at all?
Yeah, I just want to make some comments. I know the waiver standard is a very high standard. I do take note of Ed's memo, and we did allow the public to comment on it, and no one, as far as I know, no one has commented about it. I don't know, I live pretty close to it. I haven't been able to see it, and none of our neighbors have commented on it. And the only saving grace, one of the saving graces would be that Ed would be required to inspect the proposed lighting once a month according to this resolution. So if Ed does find any problems with it, he can then take the appropriate action. So I am concerned with giving a waiver, but in light of the fact that Ed will look at it once a month, that sort of mitigates that.
I would agree with that, and I also, the fact that IPIC and Ed have worked to make sure that this lighting does correspond with the intent of the code, and he makes that clear in his memo. I know there were a number of adjustments that they made to make sure that they accommodated the standards as they were intended. So with that and the inspections, I'm comfortable with it.
Okay. Nicole, any comments at all? Or?
Yeah, I know there's been issues in the past or concerns raised about the use of waiver, but this is like, I think, a perfect example of why we have the waiver provision in the code, because, you know, what was being intended in the code, according to my conversations with Ed Manley, was, you know, to prevent uplighting, which would trespass into the sky and into the night, and, you know, the dark skies. And this lighting now, as it's been adjusted through the work of IPIC with Ed, it doesn't do that. So it does conform to the intent of the code, and the code's really not up to date with the future of lighting and RGB or whatever it's called. I don't know all the terms, but, you know, we're a little bit outdated with that. So I think this is exactly what a waiver should be used for. And I really want to thank and commend Ed Manley for all the hard work and time and effort he put into making sure that we got this right as a village, and to IPIC too for being a good neighbor and working hard with Ed to make it so that it doesn't invade the night sky and won't intrude on any of the neighbors. So.
Okay, thanks. Vic, anything at all?
No, I think everybody kind of touched on all the hot points.
Okay, I agree. Those are really great comments, and I think as Trustee Rosillo pointed out, the fact that the building inspector can, over time, can continue to look and inspect this at any time that it's requested of the village administrator as well, is all in there. So thanks for that. We do have a pretty lengthy resolution here. I'm not going to read it all, but it does touch on all the comments that some of the trustees just made now. The history of this, pretty well documented within the resolution, and then the conditions going forward, which are pretty strict, and I think just gives the village all the support that it needs in this resolution to address this, if anything needs to be addressed going forward. And we want to make absolutely certain that the neighbors are comfortable with this, and it's not infringing, light pollution on the neighborhood. And again, Trustee Rosillo it's a good one to give us feedback on that. Yes. So,
I'll be there.
Okay, so if there's no more concerns or questions, then I would ask for a motion to approve the resolution for the Village of Dobbs Ferry granting a modification under the village code for the IPAC theater located at Rivertown Square waiver for the lighting at the theater. Is there a motion? Trustee Golio, second. Trustee Sullivan, discussion, all in favor? And that passes with 5 ayes and 1 absent.
Mayor, I'd just like to make just one additional comment for anybody in the public that's listening or watches this and is concerned about, the use of the waiver and the standard for health and safety and general welfare of the community. I encourage you to read the resolution, because we outlined very clearly why the limited waiver in this condition was appropriate.
Thanks, Nicole. Action item number 3 is to consider a motion to authorize the village administrator to sign a rental agreement with Mercy College for use of the rotunda on April 15, 2017. Anything you want to tell us about this?
No, actually, Patty said it all. It's for that group, and it's a number of villages who are doing study on Route 9. Mercy College has been gracious enough to give us the rotunda for free, with just the requirement of insurance by the village, and we decided that would be appropriate measure to take.
Okay, and coming out of all this, which is pretty extensive, you said there's a potential for grant monies as well, right? I mean, coming out of these meetings and this Route 9 sort of grant discussion, and Mercy's getting behind it. And I think evidence that the college is very concerned, as we all are, about traffic and that institution's impact on traffic and in the village, and this is a way to kind of address that. So we do have a rental agreement that we have in our packages that are under review. Village attorney has reviewed it, subject to his review, and so we're all covered up there on the agreements.
It's the usual agreement.
Okay. Okay, so there being no further comments or concerns, then I'll take
I'll just take a very quick comment to say we appreciate Mercy College being a good neighbor in this case and offering us the use of their building without charge.
Excellent, well said. So at this point, then I'll consider a motion to authorize the village administrator to sign the rental agreement with Mercy College for use of the rotunda, as we've outlined and explained on, and this will be for October 15, 2017. Is there a motion? Trustee Taylor, second. Trustee Rosillo, discussion, all in favor. And that passes with 5 ayes, 1 absent. Action item number 4 is to consider a motion to approve audits number 3 and number 4 for September 2017 as recommended by the village treasurer. Jeff, you're okay with this? Okay, everybody else okay? Then I'll take a motion to approve the audits number 3 and 4 for September as recommended by the village treasurer. Is there a motion? Trustee Taylor, second. Trustee Rosillo, discussion, all in favor? That passes with 5 ayes, 1 absent. Action item number 5 is to consider a motion to authorize the village administrator to sign the snow and ice agreement extension for 2016-17 with the New York State Department of Transportation. Straightforward, we do this each year. It gives us support that we need.
Yeah, some
Money to do the job that we need to do during the winter. Okay, then, there's no questions or concerns about this. I'll consider a motion to authorize the administrator to sign the snow and ice agreement for 2016-17 with New York State Department of Transportation. Is there a motion? Trustee Golio, second. Trustee Sullivan, discussion, all in favor? And that passes with 5 ayes, 1 absent. Action item number 6 is to consider a motion to schedule a public hearing on October 10, 2017, to consider a local law to change the name of Livingstone Avenue. Quick background, how this has come up is that we have another street in Dobbs Ferry, Livingston Avenue, and there has been over the years some confusion with delivery trucks, primarily where they go, and I think that this has been sort of in front of us for a little while, and it has recently come before us. In order to change a street name, we have to take legislative action, so we do need to call a public hearing to do that, so we're considering that tonight. What else? I think just as background also that this was recommended by the former chair of the planning board, Ed Plotkin, I think, in a review of something a long time ago, and it may have been Rivertown Square when it first started, that this is something that maybe the village should consider. I also think that some of the ideas are that we should name this after a famous female in Dobbs Ferry, but we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
But if we schedule this public hearing, we'll just put out that you might want to think, if you're in the community seeing this and you've got any strong opinions about it, as to what should we name this street, or what should we consider it. So that'll be one of the things I guess we'll consider at the public hearing. This isn't a layup. There is some resistance to this, particularly within the business community down at Rivertown Square. So I can sense that that is going to come back, and we're going to have some discussion about it. So it's not just an easy layup, and there will be some arguments made that this is not a good idea, and it's going to disrupt some businesses down there. But that's all something that we got to hear and listen to and consider. So that's sort of the background. So all we're doing tonight is considering to set that public hearing. So on that note, I'll take a motion to schedule a public hearing on October 10, 2017, here at Village Hall at 7:30 p.m. to consider and discuss a local law to change the name of Livingstone Avenue. Is there a motion? Trustee Taylor, second. Trustee Golio, discussion? All in favor? And that passes with 5 ayes, 1 absent. Action item number 7 is to consider a motion to accept Mr. Samuel Queen and Mr. Sean Mahoney as mutual aid members of the Dobbs Ferry Volunteer Fire Department and adding their names to the active insurance rolls as recommended by Ed Kinnett, Secretary, Dobbs Ferry Volunteer Fire Department. Is there a motion approving this request? Trustee Golio, second. Trustee Sullivan, discussion, all in favor? And that passes with 5 ayes. Action item number 8 is to consider a motion to approve a request from the Dobbs Ferry PTSA to post signage at various village locations and a banner at the Gould Park fence for the PTSA Pumpkin Fair on October 21, 2017. Is there a motion to approve this request? Trustee Golio, second. Trustee Taylor, discussion, all in favor? Great, that passes with 5 ayes. Action item number 9 is to consider a motion to approve a request from the Dobbs Ferry Women's Club to post signage at various village locations, a banner at the Gould Park fence and a banner at the Stop and Shop fence for the Dobbs Ferry Haunted House event on October 28, 2017. Is there a motion to approve this request? Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Rosillo, discussion, all in favor? That passes with 5 ayes. Action item number 10 is to consider a request from Ms. Teresa Singleton to have a block party on Maplewood Avenue on Saturday, October 28, 2017, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. As usual, we've always, and Liz will check with the police department to make sure there's no conflicts or issues, and there aren't in this case, and so it's all good. Is there a motion to approve the request from Teresa Singleton for a Maplewood block party on Sunday, October 28th? Trustee Golio, second. Trustee Taylor, discussion, all in favor? And that passes with 6 ayes.
Mayor.
5 ayes, one absent. Yes,
Mayor,
Charlene.
I apologize, but I would like to add one one item to the agenda, and that is authorizing the police chief, the new police chief, whoever, to drive a village vehicle to his residence and to use the vehicles in accordance with the village employer-provided vehicle use policy. The basis of that is that it requires a waiver according to our village policy. However, it is very clear that that the police chief's job is a 24/7. It is sort of mandated that he be available anytime, day or night, and he lives further than 10 miles, and so he would require a waiver from this board.
Okay. So I guess that's the issue, is outside of the current radius.
Yes.
That's really the issue here,
Yep.
right? Okay. Okay, so we need to add, let me formally then take a motion to add as action item number 11, consideration of a resolution of the Village of Dobbs Ferry authorizing the Police Chief Guevara to drive a village vehicle to his residence. Is there a motion to add that to the agenda? Trustee Golio, second. Trustee Taylor, discussion, all in favor? Okay, so we formally amended the agenda to add that. And now is consideration of a resolution of the Board to authorize Police Chief Manuel Guevara to drive a village vehicle to his residence as outlined by the village administrator. Is there a motion for this resolution? Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Taylor, discussion? All in favor? And that passes with 5 ayes and 1 absent. Okay, that gets us through matters requiring action. We also need to look at the minutes for the regular Board of Trustees meetings for September 12th and September 22.
I don't think we can do the 12th,
Then we can't do the 12th.
because you guys.
You and I were not here.
I wasn't here, so we don't have enough.
Donna wasn't.
Okay, so just note, Liz, that we'll need to bring that back, because we can't vote on that tonight. So we need to have Donna back to do that. But we can look at and consider adopting the meeting minutes for September 22nd. And we had that in our package. Everyone's had a chance to review that. If there are no modifications or typos to be changed, then I'll take a motion to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for Tuesday, September 22nd as submitted. Is there a motion?
It's Friday.
Sorry?
Wasn't Tuesday 22nd or Friday?
Oh, that was Friday. I'm sorry. Friday, September 22nd. So modify the motion with the right day of the week. Okay, is there a motion? Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Rosillo, discussion, all in favor? Okay, so that passes with 5 ayes, and we've adopted those minutes. Okay, so that brings us to the end. Let me just ask if there's any reports or announcements from the trustees. Nicole, anything from you?
Nothing.
Okay, Larry?
I would just remind people, I was looking at my calendar, and I couldn't find it quickly enough. I know there's a meeting of the Chamber of Commerce tomorrow evening, and I believe that meeting was moved from Hudson Social to Doubledays. All are welcome. It's a very interesting way, if you've never been to one of those meetings, to meet a lot of the local business people, to network, and to get to know the village better. So Chamber of Commerce meeting tomorrow evening at Doubledays.
Okay, great, thanks for that, Larry. Vinnie, anything at all from you? Ed? No? Okay, well, this was a great night tonight. Just a couple things here to wrap up. I just want to thank the village's recreation department and the senior advocates. They threw a great party for the seniors this morning. A lot of people, lunch served. They had a great band there. It was so festive, and we did give a little presentation for Betsy, and that was really heartfelt from the seniors, who also got her flowers and had some nice things to say and made a cake for her. So I want to thank Abby and Perrette, the senior advocates, who just worked tirelessly down there, Kendra and Mike and Lindsay, and all the volunteers. The Kerns were there, Carol and Freddie, helping to help out. It just was an incredible community event, and really made you feel lucky to be in Dobbs Ferry. So that was a great thing to see this morning. Want to announce just here real quickly that the Dobbs Ferry Historical Society annual meeting is being held this Sunday, October 1st at 2 p.m. And just want to note that the former Historical Society president, Mary Donovan, who has served in that capacity for many, many years, is going to be moving out to Denver. And so she is moving on. We have people moving on in the village, but we have a lot of people stepping up, and that's just the way of things. But if you're not doing anything on Sunday, this Sunday, October 1st at 2 p.m., you can come to the Mead House to say goodbye to Mary and her husband. There will be a proclamation from the mayor, and they'll have coffee and cake and other things to share with Mary. And we want to wish Mary Donovan all the best of luck. She's been a great leader of the Historical Society, and she will be missed. And she's one of those people that made Dobbs Ferry a much, much better place. Thanks, Mary. And I think that's it. Patty mentioned the Ferry Festa on October 14th. So that's probably the next real big event coming up. And so look forward to that, and we look forward to seeing you all again soon. There being no further business, meeting is adjourned.